Off our planet!
You traitor!
Also known as the Prime of Life, Quintessa is highly regarded as a godlike entity in the Transformers universe. While she has only appeared in the 2017 film Transformers: The Last Knight, she has caught the viewer's attention with her fierce nature, and Megatron once even described her as the most ruthless of the gods. So today we shall be exploring Quintessa's appearance, personality, and anatomical features in detail, and tell you all about this mighty Transformer. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
I will kill you!
Who really is Quintessa? Portrayed by Gemma Chan, Quintessa made her only franchise appearance in Transformers: The Last Knight in all her glory. The movie sheds some light on Quintessa's history within the Transformers universe and explores an incident that took place over a millennia ago. Quintessa's status as a godlike entity commanded a whole lot of respect, and she had a personal guard force of 12 knights known as the Knights of Iacon. Unfortunately, they could not be trusted, and they ended up betraying her by stealing the Staff of Power. While they saw Quintessa as a mad goddess, they decided to strip her of her primary weapon and hide it on Earth around the same time that the planet formed itself around Unicron. In the following millennia, Quintessa laid low and remained in hiding until the destruction of Cybertron in the aftermath of the Battle of Chicago. Soon after, Cybertron started moving towards the Earth, while Quintessa used her powers to reconstruct the planet. She also created an army of Infernocons to help her in her attempts to rebuild Cybertron, and started describing herself as the creator of the Cybertronian species. Whether her claims are true or not, she certainly spent a whole lot of time and effort in rebuilding Cybertron and contacting Lockdown to hunt and capture the Knights of Iacon. She also had her eyes on Optimus Prime, and she hoped to hypnotize him as well as the Knights, and then compelled him to rebuild the planet with her. Moreover, she was on a mission to destroy Earth, something that the Knights of Iacon would have never agreed to unless she brainwashed them into obeying her orders. As time passed, Lockdown passed away, and Quintessa then resorted to rebuilding Megatron from Galvatron's body to replace him. She also gave him a new body that resembled a Dark Knight, and brainwashed him into doing her bidding. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime embarked on a journey across space to search for his makers and entered a stasis lock. As he was drifting across space, he came across the floating Cybertron while Quintessa was trying to rebuild it. The two finally met, and Quintessa introduced herself as the Prime of Life and the God of the Transformers. Optimus Prime did not take her remarks in good faith, and the two ended up in a fight where Quintessa managed to come out on top. She also commanded Infernocus to stun Optimus and then used her magic to hypnotize him. She then told him about her history with the Knights and reprogrammed him to turn into an evil version of himself, Nemesis Prime. She then brainwashed him into thinking that Earth was Unicron and that they had to destroy the planet, but not before retrieving her Staff of Power. In the course of time, Quintessa transported Cybertron to Earth and met with Megatron and the rest of the Decepticons. In the meantime, Nemesis Prime had reverted to his usual form, and Megatron stepped up to fight him for the Staff of Power. He then took it back to Quintessa, who used it to drain the Earth's geothermal energy and Unicron's life force to rebuild Cybertron. In the meantime, the Autobots tried her best to put a stop to Quintessa's evil schemes, and Optimus Prime made his way to Quintessa's chambers with Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Hound. They were also accompanied by Crosshairs, Drift, and Cade Yeager, as well as Vivian Wembley, who was the sole human capable of wielding Quintessa's magical staff. They showed up with the best of the best, and Megatron's forces were overwhelmed by their attack. He soon stepped back, and Optimus then confronted Quintessa on his own. She used her magic to stun him while Bumblebee sneaked up on her from the back and shot her to death. Vivian swooped in immediately to get the staff out of Quintessa's reach and put a stop to her plans to suck the Earth's life force before it was too late. As the situation was contained, the Autobots and Decepticons headed back to their half-healed planet, unaware of the fact that Quintessa was still alive. It turns out that she had used her holographic cloaking powers to disguise herself as a human and remained behind on Earth. She then made her way to the archaeological site around one of Unicron's horns and advised the workers against touching the horn. While one of them asked her why, she told him all about the being and even declared that she could teach him how to kill it. Complex personality and character of Quintessa explored. While Quintessa's appearance in The Last Night was pretty brief, she certainly established herself as a powerful character with a dominating personality. She initially appeared to be a calm and collected being who looked out for the Cybertronians and even considered Optimus Prime to be one of her best creations. She was considered to be a benevolent entity who soon flips a switch and comes across as a manipulative, cold-hearted being who does not hesitate to drain the Earth's energy to restore Cybertron. As a god-level sorceress, Quintessa was quite treacherous and refused to see anybody else's perspective. She was deluded about her decisions and believed she knew the best for everyone. Quintessa further blamed Optimus for the war between the Autobots and Decepticons and refused to see sense even when Optimus tried to point out that Megatron had caused the war. However, Quintessa refused to hear him out, brainwashed him, and eventually labeled him as a traitor when he broke free from her control. Quintessa believed herself to be a higher order being and once declared herself as Optimus's god. She outrageously called him out when he tried to kill her and did not shy away from calling herself the prime of life. However, Sir Edmund Burton nicknamed her the Mad Goddess, which was quite an apt since she seemed to have a god complex. At the end of the day, all of Quintessa's actions were driven by her need to destroy Cybertron's ancient enemy, Unicron, and she would not stop at anything until she finally killed him. Does Quintessa have energy projection powers? Just like most Transformers, Quintessa was capable of harnessing and projecting energy in the form of fireballs or electrical bolts. She typically used this power to fire energy at her opponents and has often used it to stun Optimus Prime in their face-offs. How does Quintessa channel energy using her Staff of Power? Quintessa majorly relies on her Staff of Power to channel energy directly from the Earth's core to Cybertron, also known as the Staff of Merlin. This ancient relic was eventually stolen from her by the Knights of Iacon, who refused to let her destroy Earth. However, Quintessa made good use of it until she had it in her possession, and eventually she sent a brainwashed Optimus Prime to retrieve the staff for her. Does Quintessa have the ability to levitate? On numerous occasions, Quintessa has appeared mid-air in her goddess form, and she seems to have the ability to levitate. Does Quintessa have telekinesis? As an extension of her levitation abilities, Quintessa can also perform telekinesis and move objects or even other Transformers with her mind. She once demonstrated this ability when she first met Optimus Prime and then restrained him with her telekinesis. How does Quintessa control Cybertronians? Quintessa holds a whole lot of power within the Transformers universe, and she's especially known for her proficiency in sorcery. As an extension of this ability, Quintessa is capable of putting Cybertronians under a mental thrall, which can be likened to hypnosis. In this way, she could reprogram their functioning and compel them to obey her orders. How does Quintessa alter the physiology of Cybertronians? Among other things, Quintessa is also capable of changing the physical form of the Cybertronians, who were essentially considered to be her creations. She once formed Galvatron back to his original form as Megatron and even sought inspiration from her Guardian Knights to create a new design for him. In this way, she could vividly use her imagination to change the physiology of Cybertronians as per her desires. Does Quintessa have holographic camouflage? Quintessa is capable of camouflaging herself through holographic means, and she typically does this to cloak herself from humans while being stuck on Earth. Can Quintessa reproduce? In a broader sense, Transformers are living beings at heart. Even if they had mechanical features, Cybertronians are also known for creating new life within their species, even if their reproduction seems to be a complicated process. For the most part, Cybertronians reproduce asexually, but the exact process of creation is far too complex to put into words and varies depending on the origins of the species. Put it plainly, the Cybertronian reproduction process involves steps such as budding, where a new Transformer is created out of a mass of energized liquid metal that splits off from the body of the parent. Since Quintessa is a member of the same species, it might seem like she can reproduce in the same way, but we can't say for sure. Her origins and capabilities are quite ambiguous and shrouded in mystery, and for the most part, she is depicted as the self-proclaimed creator of the race. Given her godlike status, there is a chance that she has other advanced means to give life to this species, but at the same time, she seems fully capable of asexual reproduction as well. The complex relationships of Quintessa. In her brief but impactful appearances, Quintessa has forged meaningful relationships with the Knights of Iacon, who believed her to be a benevolent creator. While they looked up to her, they soon learned that her true intention was to destroy Earth, and they had to stop her. It took them no time to start rebelling against her actions and even started referring to her as the Great Deceiver, much to her annoyance. While exploring Quintessa's relationships, it is mandatory to explore her interactions with Optimus Prime, especially in Transformers The Last Night. While she sent Locke down to Earth to retrieve Optimus Prime, the latter was on a quest to find and kill Quintessa. The two had a bunch of fierce interactions wherein Quintessa even blamed Optimus Prime for Cybertron's destruction. She further brainwashed him into obeying her orders and even retrieving the Staff of Merlin from the Knights of Iacon. Viacon. While their relationship was nothing less than a roller coaster ride, Optimus eventually managed to break free from her mind control. At this point, Quintessa labeled him as a traitor and threatened to kill him until Bumblebee stepped in and shot her. Marvelous verdict. And with that, we've come to the end of this video exploring Quintessa's appearances and goddess-like nature in the Transformers universe. Often described as the prime of life or the mad goddess, she has certainly added a whole lot of spice to the existing lore, and we would love to hear your thoughts on her in the comments section below. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.